What's up guys, it is Chris back with another watch video. Today we have Spinnaker on the channel. This is a 300 meter dive watch under $300, the new Cahill from the brand. This gets a beautiful textured fume dial and a 12-hour rotating bezel. Very interesting setup on this watch. Let's flip the camera and take a look. So as I mentioned in the intro, 300 meters under $300, and this is actually very well under $300. It's around $250 if you sign up with a new email. There are a lot of other codes floating around that are 20% off. If you sign up with a new email, you get 25% off, so that's the way to go. Just create a new email if you have to and get that extra 5%. It's definitely worth it. Brings this watch down below that $300 mark, well below that $300 mark, and I think this is an excellent value at that price. So here is the watch. This is the red dial version. They call it Malbec because it's more of a sort of a red wine colored dial. It's like a deep burgundy color. It comes in the same packaging that we are used to from Spinnaker. It's just the cardboard box that is sort of lined with that nice canvas material. And here it is. You can see you have a sapphire crystal on here with some AR coating. It is a double domed sapphire crystal. It's about 13 millimeters thick. I'm going to do measurements in just a few minutes, but it's on the slightly thicker side, but it is a 300 meter dive watch with a screwed in crown and screwed in case back. They've changed a few things on this watch from the original Cahill. So this gets a step dial now. So there's a sort of a circular area in the middle. The name is applied there, Spinnaker, right there at the 12 o'clock or below the 12 o'clock. You have very large applied indices. Those are all filled with lume, and you also get lume on the hands. You sort of have a Mercedes hand for the hour hand and then a fence post hand for that minute hand, and then you have a lollipop that's in red on the seconds hand. There is a texture, a sand texture to the dial, and it is also slightly fume, so it's a little bit darker towards the edge of that sort of raised minute track that goes all the way around the dial. And then as you get towards the center, it's still a burgundy color. It's still a dark color, however, it's slightly fume, so it doesn't look very, very fume. If you're not a big fan of that, this would be a good watch for you. And then they also updated the bezel. Now you're getting a 12-hour bezel on here. This is a black brushed or matte finished insert, and it has raised indices on here. I believe this is ceramic because I don't think they can do it with any other material like this. So you have the raised 12-hour track that's in a ceramic. I think this watch has very good lume though, considering the indices and the size of those indices. Recently, I've noticed that Spinnaker have been doing a really good job with lume, so we will do a lume shot towards the end to check that out. But let's listen to the bezel action. Bezel action is decent. It's not loose. There's one thing I will say, it's a little bit hard to see the indices on the dial, on the bezel, excuse me, because it's black on black. So I really need to look at it and make sure it's lined up when I use it. It's pretty hard for my eye. I have very dry hands, so it's pretty grippy, and it's not loose. It's not that tight. So it's pretty decent action on this bezel. Pretty good. Very quickly, let's do measurements. We'll talk about the strap as well. The strap on here is a leather strap. It's a very thick leather strap with some vintage stitching on it. I wouldn't call this a vintage style diver, although it does have some vintage cues to it, especially that dial, which gives you a little bit of that vintage feel. But the strap is definitely a vintage feeling strap. It's a very thick leather strap. It's a water resistant strap, they say. And it looks pretty good. It's a black strap. It's just sort of a raw leather. You have a nice buckle on here. So the buckle on here is a sort of bespoke buckle for Spinnaker, and it's signed Spinnaker right there. It's a tang buckle, very nice, milled, very robust. The case back has that Spinnaker logo, and then you have some wave pattern here. A little bit of roughness I felt here, just a little bit, but nothing too bad. It's a screwed in case back. Considering the price on this watch, I really don't think that's bad at all, but something to note. And it is, like I said, a screwed in crown. You have an NH35 inside, and you have the crown that is signed with that Spinnaker logo. NH35, of course, you have a date. The date there at the 3 o'clock. That does not have a color match background to the dial, it has a black background. So it's a little bit weird because this is a red dial and you have a black background. So it does stand out a little bit more than if it was just a color match background. If it was a red background, a maroon background. Not sure why they went with the black background, and there's a surround around it. It's okay. It sort of balances out that larger indice there at the 9 o'clock. It works. Either way, it would have been better if they maybe went with a cream color background to mimic the indice or use that red burgundy. But they went with black. It does match the bezel, so that's something to be said. Crown, very nice, big screwed-in crown. Very easy to operate and unscrew and screw in. Very smooth operation of the crown. Very nice. Very quickly, let's do some measurements, and then we're going to do a lume shot because I already talked about the price right off the bat. I mean, it's around $250 if you get that discount. It's a 43 millimeter watch. Spinnaker still in that range. They make usually they come out with a mid-size after they come out with the larger size. So this is a 43 millimeter. They may end up coming out with a 38 or 36 millimeter eventually. They did that with a few other of their watches, which is a really great move, I think. 50 millimeters. So I think this would fit most people's wrists, even though it's a 13.3 millimeters, as I mentioned. That's including the dome sapphire crystal at 300 meters of water resistance. That is very good. That's actually very, very good. And then the crown, almost 7 millimeters, which is great. Like I said, this would fit most wrists. On my 7.5 inch wrist, I think it works really well. Let me throw it on my wrist so you guys can see. Before I do, let me do a quick wrist check. Today I am wearing Zelos. This is the sort of the upgraded swordfish. It's called the Spearfish, and this is a watch that came out a little while ago. Has that Le Jeu Perret movement in it. That's that new Le Jeu Perret movement. Sort of an elevated diver from the brand. I really love that watch. Very cool. And here is the Cahill on my 7.5 inch wrist. Now they put a strap on here that's actually very, very long. I'm pretty impressed. I think they expect, you know, people with larger wrists to be wearing this watch, and then they'll come out with that mid-size version as well eventually. They already have mid-size versions of their other watches on their website, so definitely something to keep in mind. It's a good-looking watch. This is a really good-looking watch, and for $250, it's a really well-made watch for that price. This is pretty incredible. Considering the price, considering the look and the materials that they've used. You know, you're getting sapphire, you're getting ceramic, you're getting a textured dial that has a fume pattern, automatic movement, really nice strap on here, all for under $250. That's really not bad. The regular retail price is $325. So you can get 20% off pretty easily with them, but I would go for that 25% because you get that extra 5% and it brings it below $250. That's a really good price for this. It's a good looking watch for that price. Anyway, let's do a quick lume shot and then wrap up the video. So there you have it, $250. This gets a lot of lume. There's just a lot of surface area where the lume is applied. It's liberally applied, so you have very, very bright lume on this watch. Very well done. For $200 and change, which is what you can get this for, $325, I think it's still worth it at that price. This is a pretty cool watch. You're getting a lot of features, a lot of sort of specs for that money, and it's a really good price, and you're getting very good lume. Lume is expensive. I always bring this up when I see a watch that is under $300 with tons of lume. Lume is very expensive, so putting a lot of lume on a dial for a watch that is inexpensive is obviously a effort to make the watch a better value. They're not making tons of money on watches like these. So tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Pretty cool watch, good looking watch at a great price. There are some quirks obviously, but those are forgivable when you're considering that it's sub $250. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.